Hey everyone, my name is Annie, and today I wanted to share my favorite Japanese drugstore sunscreen. Japan has always been a leader in sunscreen innovation due to its laws and its cultural focus on skincare. I've been loving Japanese sunscreens ever since I tried them. I'll be demoing each sunscreen as well, so let's dive in. So first up, we have the Biore UV Aqua Rich Watery Essence, and this is probably the first Japanese sunscreen that I've tried. I just remember trying it and being so surprised that it actually felt like a skincare product, not like, your traditional sunscreen. Growing up, I was on the swim team on and off, but when I was on the swim team, I remember putting on sunscreen and, just getting whatever was available at the drugstore. So typically it'd be, that Neutrogena sunblock or the banana boat sunscreen. And I always remember putting it on and feeling kind of gross. It felt like, there's like a film over you. It's like greasy. There's that white cast. So I've never really liked putting on sunscreen. And before my first trip to Japan, I actually did research on what are the best beauty products to buy there? And upon my research, I saw that the Biore sunscreen was highly recommended. So I picked it up during my first trip to Japan, and I've just been hooked on Asian sunscreens ever since. So this is a chemical sunscreen, and the filters that they use are octinoxate, Tinosorb S, Uvinol A+, and Uvinol T150. And it's actually so popular that on one of the Amazon listings for this Biore sunscreen, there's over like 1,400 reviews and it has a 5-star rating. So a lot of people are liking it. I would say that this sunscreen would probably work best for those with a bit more oilier combination skin. Definitely achieved holy grail status for so many, just based on its light texture and the fact that it doesn't leave behind any white cast. For me, I found that over time as I was using this sunscreen, because of the alcohol in the sunscreen, I actually felt like it was drying out my skin. So I don't use this anymore on my face. If I'm in a pinch and I need some body sunscreen, I'll totally use this on my body. Just note, there's also added fragrance in here. So if you're someone whose skin is sensitive to fragrance or alcohols, then I would skip this one for now. But other than that, I think this is a really great kind of starter basic sunscreen to get if you're just really starting out with your skincare routine and trying to build out your steps and products. So next up, we have Shiseido's Anessa. And Anessa has probably been one of the best-selling sunscreens in Japan for a couple of decades. This one is called the Perfect UV Sunscreen Skincare Mill. And just know, under the Anessa brand, there are kind of like a few versions of this sunscreen out there. I think they have one for like sensitive skin, but this one is the Skincare Milk. So I love this sunscreen for the days where I know I'm either going to be sweating a lot or if I'm actually going to be in water. This sunscreen is water resistant for up to 80 minutes. And if you're going to be spending a full day outside or swimming, you definitely want to make sure you're using a water resistant sunscreen. Otherwise, all of that protection is probably just going to wash or sweat right off. Another cool thing about this sunscreen is that it has both chemical and physical filters, something that you'll kind of see as common across different Asian sunscreens, and this is definitely not the only Japanese sunscreen with this feature. And then another unique thing about this sunscreen is that around 50% of the formula is dedicated to using ingredients that will actually benefit your skin, such as hyaluronic acid and green tea extract. And normally I don't look to my sunscreen to also have skin benefiting ingredients. For sunscreen, for me, my main expectation is that it filters out UVA and UVB rays and protects me from the sun. But if a sunscreen comes with these ingredients, to me, I feel like that's just kind of extra bonus points on top. This sunscreen has more of a runnier, milky texture too, I would say. This does dry down a little matte, which I don't really mind. And I just love using this one if I'm gonna be outdoors. So next we have the Suncut. This one is called the Aqualy UV Protect Gel. And this one is also, of course, SPF 50+, PA+. This is also another Japanese sunscreen that has both physical and chemical filters within. So the filters used in this sunscreen are octinoxate, Parcel SLX, Uvinol A+, and Tinosorb S. And what's also unique about the Suncut sunscreen is that it's fragrance-free, which I feel like is kind of a rarity in Asian skincare. Typically within Asian skincare, I find that fragrance is added a lot, I think, to kind of make the product feel more sensorial when you're applying it, make it feel special. Adding that scent in there really makes it feel a bit more of like an elevated experience, I would say. That's their intention, but it's rare to find, I think, a fragrance-free Asian sunscreen, and this one works really well. There also is kind of like a sunscreen alcohol-ish scent, but it definitely fades away after you rub in the product. Typically, I don't really mind fragrance in my skincare, but I do also have sensitive skin. And for me, sometimes fragrance can be an irritant, not always. So if there is a fragrance-free option, these days I'm more likely to choose that over a fragrance option. So it's just nice to have fragrance-free options, especially when it comes to sunscreen. Next up, we have the Canmake Mermaid Skin Gel UV++, and this one also says you can use on your face and body, but I probably wouldn't use it on my body. It's such a tiny tube. So I really like this sunscreen, and I actually got this one recently and I've been testing it. So this is another one with both physical and chemical filters. The filters that they use in here are octinoxate, zinc oxide, and titanium dioxide. Another thing that makes this sunscreen different is apparently 85% of the formula is dedicated to including skin benefiting ingredients, kind of like, you know, how we saw with the Anessa one, but this one has like a higher percentage. Again, I'm not really someone who looks for skin benefiting ingredients from my sunscreen other than SPF protection. So for me, that's not like a must-have. But if a sunscreen has ingredients that will benefit my skin, I'm totally gonna use it. And I find that this one is super, super light. It rubs in really, really well. It does come out of the tube white, but once you rub it into the skin, it definitely goes away. Another cool thing about the Canmake is that there's actually no alcohol in this sunscreen, which is also kind of a rarity as well within Asian sunscreen. So if your skin is sensitive to alcohol, this is definitely one that I'd recommend you check out. This sunscreen also isn't waterproof, so I think it works better as kind of just like a daily normal sunscreen. If I were to go out, you know, exploring or hiking or whatever for the day, then I would definitely still grab the Anessa over this one. Some of the skin benefiting ingredients that the Canmake has are Job's tears and hyaluronic acid. So last up, we have this sunscreen from Hada Labo. And this one's a very interesting sunscreen because it comes in a tub. And I don't think I've ever seen this before. And it's kind of surprising because I haven't seen any Hada Labo products come in a tub. Even their moisturizers are in the normal toner packaging, but this is literally a tub of sunscreen. I'm not the biggest fan of this component. I think this is the incorrect component for a sunscreen. I think that sunscreens should be inside tubes, or, you know, something that you can squeeze out of, kind of like with what we've seen from all of our previous sunscreens. You can notice that the packaging all kind of feels really similar. These two are tubes, and then these two are like squeeze bottles. The formula is really, really nice. This one also rubs into the skin so well. It has that gel-like light consistency. So the Hada Labo sunscreen also has both chemical and physical filters. The filters used in this sunscreen are octinoxate, Uvinol A+, Parcel SLX, and Tinosorb S. This is fragrance-free, mineral oil-free, and just like with their normal products, I really do like it, and I think it's you know, a wonderful, light, hydrating sunscreen. It's just a shame about the packaging. And I hope that they consider putting it in a tube in the future, because I feel like that's what kind of works best for the product. I hate it when my skincare products come in jars, with the exception of like moisturizers and masks, because every time I put my finger in, I just feel like no matter how clean my hands are, that I'm still dirtying it a little bit, or maybe I'm just being too paranoid. So yeah, thanks so much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you've tried any of these sunscreens, or maybe you're really liking the sunscreen you're currently using, I'm always down to take new sunscreen recommendations. It's a category where I just love testing new products and just really finding the best sunscreen out there, because it is really the most important part of your skincare routine. So until next time.